Hi guys, and welcome back to the Crochet Toy YouTube channel. In today's video I have another tutorial for you, and this is another one in the BT21 series, and this time it's for Cooky. So here he is. He's got a little tail as well on the back. So yeah, if you're interested in finding out how to make this, then do keep watching. As always, the written pattern will be available on my blog, and that'll be linked down below, so you can click on that and have that open at the same time if you want. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into what you'll be needing for this tutorial. For this tutorial, you'll be needing Aran weight yarn in pink and cream, some scissors, a 4mm crochet hook, or you could size up or down depending on if you're using a different weight of yarn than Aran. You're needing a stitch marker. I'm just using a scrap piece of yarn there. A yarn needle for sewing all the pieces together. Some pins is an optional thing that you could use to help you keep things in place when you're sewing everything together, but it's not 100% necessary. I've got some fabric glue here, that's for helping to glue down the face details. Some black embroidery thread, which is for embroidering the eyebrows and the mouth. Some stuffing. You'll need a lot more than this, but this is just to demonstrate. And then finally you'll either need some black felt, or if you can, you'll be needing some safety eyes, some 6mm safety eyes, and I think this is also a 6mm safety nose, but if you don't have those, then you can just cut the pieces out of felt, so it's up to you what you do. So that's everything that you'll be needing for this tutorial. So we're going to start by making the head, and we're firstly going to do 6 single crochets in a magic circle for round 1. Then for round 2 you're just going to increase all the way around, and that will get you up to 12 single crochets at the end of the round. Okay, so at the end of round 2 you should have your 12 single crochets. I'm just going to talk you through the next few rounds because they're just standard increases in increments of 6. So for round 3 you're going to do single crochet increase and repeat that 5 more times to get you to 18 single crochets at the end of the round. Round 4, 2 single crochet increase, repeat that 5 more times to get you to 24 single crochets. Round 5, 3 single crochet increase, repeat that 5 more times to get you to 30 single crochets. Round 6, 4 single crochet increase, repeat that 5 more times to get you to 36 single crochets. Round 7, single crochet all the way around. Round 8, 5 single crochet increase, repeat that 5 more times to get you to 42 single crochets. And then rounds 9 to 15, so 7 rounds in total, single crochet all the way around. I'll meet you at the end of round 15 as we're going to start doing some decreases. I'm just about to start round 16 now, so you're going to start off by doing 5 single crochets. And then you're going to do a decrease. And you're going to repeat that 5 more times, and that will get you to 36 single crochets at the end of round 16. Then for round 17, single crochet all the way around. Round 18, 4 single crochet decrease, repeat that 5 more times to get you to 30 single crochets at the end of the round. Round 19, 3 single crochet decrease, repeat that 5 more times to get you to 24 single crochets at the end of the round. Then round 20, 2 single crochet decrease, repeat that 5 more times to get you to 18 single crochets at the end of the round. I'll meet you at the end of round 20 as we then need to stuff the head. So once you've got to the end of round 20, you're going to want to stuff the head firmly, so that's what I've just done here, as you can see. And now we've just got 2 more rounds to do. So round 21, single crochet decrease, repeat that 5 more times to get you to 12 single crochets at the end of the round. Then round 22, decrease all the way around to get you to 6 single crochets at the end of the round. So I'll meet you at the end of round 22. So I got to the end of the final round, and this is what the head looks like now. So I'm just going to cut my yarn and close up the hole, so just leave a bit of a tail, don't need to leave too much when you cut your yarn. Then we're just going to close up this hole, so if you just grab your needle and you just weave your yarn tail through the front loops only of each of the 6 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then if you just pull tightly and you weave that yarn tail through to a random stitch on the side of the head, and don't, well, I guess it doesn't really matter because we're going to be sewing the body to this, so it doesn't really matter if you pull a bit too tight and misshape the bottom of the head. But yeah, that's that. So then we're just going to cut this tail, and if you can still see a bit of tail poking through, you can just push it in with your scissors. And now we have our head, so it should look something like this. So now I think what I'll do is I'll probably add the face details. So the first thing I'd recommend you do is you work out where you're going to place the eyes and the nose. If you've got safety eyes and nose, you can just place them in at this point without gluing, just so that you can continue moving them around if you need to. If you're using felt for these pieces, you could just place some pins instead where you think they're going to go. This just helps you a little bit to kind of work out where you need to be embroidering when you're doing the mouth and the eyebrows. So once you've done that, grab your black embroidery thread and we'll start adding the mouth and the eyebrows. That left one doesn't quite look right, I'm just going to redo that. I think I'm happy with that. The left one should be a bit more angry looking than the right one, so I think I have managed to achieve that there. So I'm probably just going to leave it like that. I did actually end up moving the left eyebrow like just slightly higher up because I wanted it to be a bit more exaggerated, because I felt like it kind of looked like I was trying to make it even and I just messed up on the left hand side, whereas I want to make it obvious that this eyebrow is definitely meant to be more angrier looking than the other side. So once you've kind of happy with your embroidery, at this point you just want to add a little dab of glue onto your safety eyes and nose if that's what you're using. So I literally just go like this, just add a bit of glue, not too much because it'll all bunch up when you push the nose or the eyes in, so just a bit there. And then I'm just gonna place this back where it was before, try to get rid of any strings of glue and just press down firmly and try not to touch that for a little bit. I'm just going to do the same thing for the eyes and then we'll move on to making the ears. I forgot to mention as well, in terms of these embroidery thread ends, I'm probably just going to weave them all to the bottom of the head here, and they can get hidden when we eventually attach the body to the head, and you can do a bit of knotting with them as well if you want to make sure that they remain in place. So I've already made one of the ears here, and I'm just going to talk you through the rounds because they're pretty similar to what we did for the head and stuff. So for round 1 it's 6 single crochets in a magic circle. Round 2, increase all the way around, that will get you to 12 single crochets at the end of the round. Rounds 3 to 9, single crochet all the way around. Round 10, 4 single crochet decrease, and repeat that pattern once more to get you to 10 single crochets at the end of the round. And then round 11, single crochet all the way around. I'll meet you at the end of round 11 and show you how to close up the ear. And then for one of the ears we're going to need to make an inner ear piece in cream, but the other one we're going to sew folded down like this onto the ear, so we won't need to bother doing that. So I got to the end of round 11 and now I'm just going to do 5 slip stitches across to close up the ear. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm just going to cut my yarn, leaving a tail long enough for sewing. And on one of the ears you might want to leave a slightly longer tail, because for that one we're going to need to do a bit more sewing because we need to sew it folded like this. So now I've got my 2 ears. Now we're just going to make a cream inner ear piece for one of these ears, and then we're going to sew them both to the top of the head. The inner ear piece is worked by working round a foundation chain. So we're going to start off by chaining 9. Then starting from the second chain from hook, we're going to do an increase, so you can work into the front loops if you want. I'm just going to be working into the back loops just because I like how that looks better. So I'm doing an increase, and then I'm just going to work 7 single crochets down the foundation chain. And now we're going to be working around the other side of that foundation chain, so into these loops, and we're going to do the exact same thing again. So we're going to do an increase to start with, and then we're just going to do 7 single crochets, and that should get us back up to where we started this round. Okay, so that's it, that's all you need to do. So I'm just going to cut my yarn now, leaving a tail for sewing. And and you can cut that other little tail if you want. Get rid of that now. So now we're just going to sew this to one of the ears. I've pinned the inner ear piece down to help me while I'm sewing this. Obviously be careful because the pins will be poking out the back of this if you do use pins yourself, but I'm just going to be whip stitching all the way around. So I'm going to start off by going into one of these slip stitches that we did at the end, like that, and then I'm going to start working my way down the chain. So just like that, I'm just going to be whip stitching all the way around, and I'll meet you when I've finished that. I finished sewing this piece down now, so I'm just going to weave my yarn tail through to one of the cream stitches, and then I'll just cut that. Okay, so that is the finished ear, and we've got our other ear over here. Now I'm going to sew these to the head, and one of them is going to go on the, the cream one should go on our left, so like this, and then the other one should go to the right of that, and then we're going to sew it closed down like that, and I'll show you how to do that too. So yeah, let's do that now. As you can see, I've sewn down one of the ears. I'm going to start doing the other one with you. So we're going to firstly just sew it down normally so that it looks like so that it's like standing up like this, and then we'll do the foldy bit separately. So I'm going to just start off by trying to position this how I think it should go, roughly like that, and I'm going to start whip stitching the stitches down. So I'm going to go like this. So you get the idea. I'm going to do that on the front and then also on the back, so I'll meet you when I get back to where I started effectively. So I've made my way back to where I started, and I've sewn this down now, and now I want to keep it folded like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to weave my yarn tail through to about here, and then I'm going to start sewing down some stitches from the back of the kind of end of the ear, so like this. So that's one, and even with just the one you can see that that's already kept that in place, but I'm going to do a few more just to be on the safe side. So I've done 3 there. I'm just going to see how that looks. I think that's probably enough, so I'm just going to weave my yarn tail through to the back, and then I'll cut that. Okay, so now when you've sewn both those down, this is what it should be looking like now. And now we can move on to making the body, which starts at the legs, then we join the legs together and we make the body. So let's do that now. For the legs, we're going to start off by doing 6 single crochets in a magic circle again. So that's the end of round 1. Then for round 2, you're going to increase all the way around. That'll get you up to 12 single crochets at the end of the round. Then rounds 3 to 6, so 4 rounds in total, single crochet all the way around. So I'll meet you at the end of round 6. I got to the end of round 6, and now I'm just going to cut my yarn. Don't really worry about leaving a particularly long tail, it doesn't really matter. And we're just going to repeat all those rounds once more, so rounds 1 to 6, but this time leave your yarn on the hook. So I'll meet you when you've done that. I've got my 2 legs now, so we're going to start round 7 and we're going to join them together in round 7. So I'm going to start off by doing 6 single crochets in the leg that's currently on my hook, and I'm going to just mark that first stitch just to help me remember where it started. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're going to work 12 single crochets around the other leg, sorry, that we have here, and it doesn't really matter where you start attaching your yarn into. So I'm just going to pick this stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12. And then we need to work 6 single crochets in the other leg, and if you're not sure where to start, then just count back 6 from your stitch marker. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the one we'll start in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now at the end of round 7 you should have 24 single crochets all the way around, and your 2 legs should be joined together. And now we just need to do some rounds of single crocheting all the way around. So for rounds 8 to 16 you're just going to single crochet all the way around, so I'll meet you at the end of round 16. I finished round 16, so I've just added some stuffing at this point, so you're going to want to do the same thing. And then I'm just going to cut my yarn, leaving quite a long tail because I'm going to be needing to sew this to the body. So that's that. Sorry, I'm going to need to sew the body to the head. So yeah, now that you've got your yarn tail and you've stuffed the body, let's sew this to the head. So I'm just positioning the body where I want it to go, kind of like this. Then I'm going to start whip stitching around. I'm not going to be using any pins, but you could do if you wanted to. So I'm just going to pick a nearby stitch. And then keep whip stitching around the body. So I'm just going to be going like that all the way around until I get back to where I started, so I'll meet you at that point. I finished sewing the body, so this is what it looks like, and now I'm just going to weave the yarn tail through to a random stitch in the back of the head, and then I'll just cut that. So now that I've done that, the next thing that we need to do is make the arms. So I've already made one of the arms. This is what it's going to look like, and to start off with you need your cream yarn, and you're just going to be doing 5 single crochets in a magic circle for round 1. Round 2 increase all the way around to get you to 10 single crochets at the end of the round, and then round 3 single crochet all the way around. I'll meet you at the end of round 3 as we'll then change to pink. So I'm just about to do my final single crochet of round 3, and instead of pulling through in cream I'm going to pull through in pink to change the colour. And now I'm going to continue on crocheting in pink. So all we need to do is some more rounds of single crocheting all the way around, so that'll be rounds 4 to 9. So I'm just doing a few single crochets here so you can see. So yeah, if you just do rounds 4 to 9 single crochet all the way around in pink, then I'll meet you when you've done that and show you how to close up the arm, and then we can sew them to the body. Got to the end of round 9 and I added a very light amount of stuffing to the arm. You definitely don't want to stuff this firmly, as I think that'll look a bit funny. So when you've done that, then we just need to slip stitch across to close the arm up again. So we're just going to do 5 slip stitches across like we did for the ears. Then we're just going to cut our yarn, leaving a tail for sewing. And once you've got your 2 arms, then come back here and I'll show you how to sew them to the body. I've sewn down one of the arms, as you can see, and I'm going to do the other one with you now. So I'm just going to, again, I'm not going to be using pins at all for this. I'm just going to line up the arm as best I can, make sure that I'm happy with that. I think that looks good, so I'm going to start sewing this now. So I'm just going to be whip stitching along the top of the arm to start with. Just going to check the positioning is still right, and yep, I think it is. So now I'm just going to sew down a couple of stitches at the front. Just like that. And I'm going to do a couple at the back as well, so I'm going to weave that yarn tail through to the back. Going to position that into the arm, and then I'm going to weave sew down a couple of these stitches at the back. And there we have it. The 2 arms are now sewn down, so I'm just going to weave the yarn tail through somewhere in the back, and then I'll cut that. So now the only thing I think that's left to do is just to add a little tail to the back. That'll be really quick, and then we'll be finished. I've gone ahead and made the tail because it is very simple. You just need to do, for round 1, 5 single crochets in a magic circle, round 2 single crochet all the way around, and then just cut your yarn, leaving a bit of a tail for sewing. So once you've done that, come back and I'll just show you how I'm going to sew that to the body. I'm just going to sew this to the back of the body, so just about here. I'm not going to be using any pins, but you could do to help keep it in place. So I'm just going to whip stitch around. Okay, and then I'm just going to weave my yarn tail through again to a random stitch, and then I'll just cut that. So that is it. You should now be finished basically. There's nothing left to do, so I'm just going to show you a better view of the finished product. So this is my finished cookie. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye guys.